You are listening to Shaun of the South podcast, brought to you by Food City, fresh, local, and full of flavor. From certified Angus beef and locally grown produce to fresh sushi, wings, and Dietz and Watson deli meats, Food City has it all, ready to go. Enjoy curbside pickup, full-service floral, and pharmacies that accept thousands of insurance plans and benefit cards. Earn fuel bucks and save at any Gas and Go fuel center, because nobody does food like Food City. Find your nearest store at foodcity.com. I got into an argument at the supermarket. That is how volatile our world is right now. It was the checkout line. My opponent was not only clueless, but pig-headed, refusing all logic. The fact that my opponent is only 9 years old is no excuse. "I don't like Superman," the little boy said. "He's just kind of dumb." At the time, I was holding a Superman comic book along with my other grocery items. They were selling comics in the checkout lane to promote the new Superman movie. The elderly lady, cashier, was just staring at us. We were arguing. I said, "You don't like Superman. That's impossible. Everyone likes Superman." "I don't know anyone who likes Superman," said the little boy. Then his sister chimed in. "I literally don't even know who Superman is." She was 7 years old. This is an affront. When I was a boy, everyone knew who Superman was, namely because Superman was a vital piece of childhood. While girls were off playing house, developing useful life skills such as learning to balance checkbooks and using easy-bake ovens, boys were running around in our backyards wearing bath towels as capes. As a kid, you'd get into these wonderfully dramatic arguments with your buddies over which superhero was the best. And these topical disagreements usually centered around the lesser superheroes like Batman, Spider-Man, or Barbara Eden. But here's the thing. Superman always won. Because, hello, he was Superman. My boyhood mind was consumed with Superman. I had Superman pajamas which looked exactly like his costume, and often wore them to school beneath my clothes. During bathroom breaks, I would tear off my civilian clothes and return to class in my heroic getup. Mrs. Welch would refer to me as Mr. Kent from there on. I wore those pajamas every day until there were holes in my little super butt. One day the pajamas mysteriously went missing. My mother said, "I don't know where they went. Maybe I misplaced them after I washed them." I never forgave her for such an irresponsible oversight. As a boy, I ate, drank, and breathed Superman. A local radio station played old Superman shows every weekday after school. On Saturday mornings, I watched reruns of Superman with George Reeves. George Reeves was a terrific actor, perhaps the most gifted thespian who ever lived. To give you an idea on how talented he was, even though Clark and Superman were indistinguishable in appearance, nobody ever knew that Clark and Superman were the same person. Now that's acting. I carried my love of Superman well into my teens. I was a subscriber to Action Comics, which debuted in 1938, and I never missed an issue. My teens were pretty hard years. I went through some difficult stuff during my youth. We moved a lot. I had the death of a parent. I dropped out of school. We weren't exactly well off, fiscally speaking, and to make matters worse, I had red hair. But no matter how bad it got, I always had Superman. I knew he wasn't real, of course, but in a way, he kind of was, because he embodied more than what I was. He represented truth, justice, and the American way. Aside from all the other superpowers, his most incredible quality was that he was a nice guy. And believe me, he didn't have to be nice. Clark had every superpower known to man. Flight, X-ray vision, super strength, heat vision, impenetrable skin, ice breath, superhuman hearing, electricity absorption, super speed, biological longevity, tactile telekinesis, microscopic vision, time travel, and, as seen in Superman number 62, super ventriloquism. And he was still painfully humble. Clark could have been the king of the world, master of the universe, had any girl he wanted, won every high school football game single-handedly. He could have had his face on Fortune 500 magazine. He could have bullied the entire universe into his will. But he chose to be nothing. He chose to be anonymous. He chose horn-rimmed glasses. Oh, would that I could be such a man. Superman's popularity might have faded for mainstream attention, but I wonder what that says about us. Your modern Marvel movie heroes are nothing like Supes. See, I'm not sure what your Marvel heroes are even fighting for these days, except for likes and shares. And not to be critical, but your modern cinematic superheroes are little more than clinically depressed, computer-generated underwear models who don't even wear capes. So I placed that comic book on the conveyor belt in that grocery store, and the little boy was still unconvinced. When the elderly lady cashier rang me up, she looked at the comic book and she wore an amused smile. I asked the cashier to weigh in on our debate. I said, "Ma'am, who do you think the best superhero is?" She thought about it. She said, "Matthew McConaughey." Well, thanks for listening to Sean of the South. I've been your host today, Sean Dietrich, and it has been a true privilege. To find out anything more about what I do, you can visit SeanDietrich.com, or for those who are not particularly good spellers, you can visit SeanOfTheSouth.com, and there you can find out all sorts of information that you didn't know you didn't need to know about me. And while you're there, I hope you take the time to drop me a line. Tell me what's important to you. Tell me what's going on in your life. I'd like to hear it. And in case anyone hadn't told you today already, I love you. Now go say that to somebody else. Have a great day.